Hey everyone, this is Chad from welcome to WordPress.com, and today we're going to go over the different options for moderating the discussions on your blog. So first thing we want to do is open up the Settings module and then go down to the discussion link. This is going to bring up all the discussion settings, which are basically how you control comments and pingbacks and trackbacks and things like that. Now the first section is for article settings or post settings. You can check off to attempt to notify any blogs linked to from the article. If there's a link to another blog post, it's going to try to notify that other blog post, and it slows down posting. I don't usually have that checked myself. There's also a checkbox for allowing link notifications from other blogs, which are pingbacks and trackbacks, and then allow people to post on new articles, to post comments on new articles. And each of these settings can be changed on each individual post. So these are your defaults. They're not set in stone. If you have a post where you want to do things a little bit differently, or a page where you say don't want to allow comments, you can disable those on the writing page for that specific post or article. The other comment settings section lets you check off whether or not the author is required to give you their name and email. I recommend this just from the point of view of it's going to encourage, or rather discourage, people who aren't seriously interested in making a comment. If someone isn't interested enough to leave their email address just to demonstrate that they're a real person, I don't really want their comment, so I always leave that checked off, and that requires the email to be put in there for a comment before a comment can be left. You can also check off if you only want registered users on your blog, people who have an account on your blog, who have a username and password. If you only want them to be able to comment on the things you write, you can check off the second box there as well. There's also a setting to automatically close comments after a certain period of time. You can check this off if you want it to be, the default is 14 days, but you could change that to any number of days you want, but that would make it so that people could only comment on your posts for a certain period of time, so you wouldn't have to worry about posts on older articles. I'm more than happy to get comments, out into the future on posts I write. If people are still reading it and they want to comment on it and ask questions, I'm more than happy to respond to that, so I don't check that off. But if you wanted to close them after a certain period of time, then you can definitely do that right here. There's also an option for threaded or nested comments up to 5 levels deep. You can change that right here. When people reply, it will put the comment underneath and slightly indented, so you can see when a comment is a response to a previous comment. The last option in the comment settings here is when the comment pages should be broken, how many comments should show on one page, and then also the order of the pages, which page you want to show first, the last page or the first page, and then also which comment should show first, the oldest comment or the newest comment. So you can control the order of the comments to show newest to oldest, or vice versa. The next section is when you want to be emailed. You can check off options for when you want to receive an email on a comment. My options right here are to get an email whenever a comment's posted, as well as whenever a comment is held for moderation. You can set things up so that comments are not always held. There can be certain people or certain situations where the comment doesn't get moderated, it just gets posted. So if you don't want emails on those, you can uncheck that box. The next section is what should happen before a comment is allowed to appear on your blog. An administrator must always approve the comment, means no comment can go up without your approval. And then the second option is comment author must have a previously approved comment, which means if you wanted to uncheck this first option, you could then set it up so that nothing would go up unless the person leaving that comment had already had something approved before. So that way you kind of have a chance to meet people before they're allowed to comment without being moderated. So whatever options you want to use there are up to you. The comment moderation section lets you control when comments will be held for moderation. If you don't have this checkbox up here to moderate all comments, you can control which comments will trigger moderation. The default here is to hold a comment for moderation if it has more than 2 links. Most spam comments will have multiple links, so if there are more than 2 links, it's probably spam. It should probably be held for commenting. There are plugins like Akismet that will really help to cut down on your spam comments as well. The other thing you can do is you can add in different words, email addresses, URLs, things like that, IP addresses, to have any comment containing what you enter into this box here held for moderation automatically. So if there are certain words or certain phrases or email addresses that are always going to be spam, or you think they're always going to be spam, you can put them in here so they'll always be moderated and they won't go out without your permission. Comment blacklist is similar to the moderation box. You can put in words and phrases and things that will not be allowed. If a comment has these words, you can put in foul language here if you wanted to. If there were just things you didn't want to have displayed, they would just not be allowed and they wouldn't go out. The last option is avatars, what you want avatars to look like. The first choice you have to make is whether or not you want avatars to show up. I personally recommend it. It gives, people can put faces to names. It gives it a more of a real interaction. But if you don't want avatars, you just want text comments, you can turn off avatars here. If you're using Gravatar, and Gravatar is just gravatar.com, and it basically, in a nutshell, is a website that allows you to associate an image with your email address. Then any website that you comment on using that email address, it'll know what your picture is because you have it associated through gravatar.com. So when you set up an image on gravatar.com, you have to specify a rating for what type of image that is, so you can select what rating of images you want to use. It's not very often that you run into an inappropriate image. Most people using Gravatar are just putting their face up there or their logo or something like that, so it's nothing to be afraid of. But if you want to control what ratings are allowed on your blog, you can do that right here. Then the last option is the default avatar. For people who don't have a custom avatar or a Gravatar set up, what do you want to show up in place of their picture? You can choose the gray mystery man, the WordPress classic there, or you can go with just a blank picture. And there's a few other options. These last three, the Identicon, Waveatar, and Monster ID, will be different. They're kind of random pictures, so it's not the same thing showing up all the time. But those are your different options for controlling the discussion and commenting on your blog posts and pages. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments.